welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. I am Coach Julia and today is a footwork tutorial. I'm going to be teaching you how to do forward inside rocker turns. I have taught forward outside rocker turns previously and I'll post that link down below, but today is going to be forward inside rocker turns. So before you learn these forward inside rockers, I want to make sure you've learned a series of other turns. You need to know how to do your 3 turns, both forward and backward. You need to know how to do your brackets forward and backward, and you should have a decent grip on all of your counters forward and backward. Most people consider rockers the hardest turn. There are those few outliers that prefer counters, so that does happen, but generally we consider rockers to be the hardest one. So you want to make sure you've learned all of those other turns first, and it'll make this easier to learn. If you need to learn those, I'll post links to all of those tutorials in the order I think you should learn them in the description down below, including 2-foot turns, which is where we start the whole process. So if you haven't learned any of the things that I just mentioned, go to the description down below. You'll see a series of links. You can learn that skill and then come back to this one when you're ready. You can just bookmark it and save it for later. But if you're ready, we are going to learn forward inside rockers. I've said so many names now, I was getting confused. Forward inside rockers. Okay, so we're going to use these 2 curling circles, the red and the blue, just so you can clearly see the curves that they enter and exit on. So a rocker is going to switch circles. 3 turns and brackets stay on the same circle. Counters and rockers switch circles, okay? You're also going to stay on the same edge. So if you start on an inside, you're going to end on an inside. That's also a little different than 3 turns and brackets, which will switch edges. So they'll go from an outside to an inside or an inside to outside. Okay, so I know it's confusing, but for our rockers, we are switching circles, but staying on the same edge. So I'm going to enter on my forward inside, exit on my backward inside edge. Okay, so like a 3 turn, our rocker is going to have the tip of that rocker pointing in towards our starting circle. Okay, so a counter is going to point away, a rocker is going to point in. Now I have a whole video that explains the difference between all these turns. I'll post a link down below for that as well, just so you can sort of get your mind wrapped around what all these different turns mean. Okay, since we're starting with inside, I'm going to be putting my right foot on this starting circle, the red circle. So that means the edge that I want to skate on is facing inside. Okay, so I'm on my right inside edge. And like a 3 turn, I'm going to face inside to get this started. If I faced outside, I would end up pointing my toe the wrong way when I turn. So I'm going to face inside. I'm going to push, bend that knee, bring my foot forward, and then back again. Okay, that's not 100% necessary to make that move, but it often, if you learn how to do that, it'll help you kind of pull forward on the correct edge. Okay, you can push and just set your foot right here, but if you move your foot through and pull it back, you can pull onto that edge a little harder. You can go pull and it helps you twist your upper body a little bit as well. Okay, so we're facing in. We're pushing off of the left. We're going to put that foot forward and pull it in. And I'm really twisting my waist. So by the time I'm at my axis and I'm ready to turn, my upper body is fully facing the center of this circle. So I'm thinking of my upper body like a pepper shaker. And I'm twisting the top and leaving the bottom stationary. So I get a really good twist in my abs and in my spine. Okay? And my foot at this point should be tucked behind me, and I'm going to be pressing down with my skating leg into my edge. Okay, so I'm in this position. Okay, twisted and pressed and really deep into that inside edge. Now what's going to happen, I'm going to do this with both feet on the ice just so you can see it kind of carefully, is I'm going to keep my upper body facing and I'm going to twist my lower body the other way so that I can stay on my back inside edge. Okay, so I'm here. I'm going to go lift up over my toe, flip that foot around, and keep my upper body facing where I started. So let's go over this rocker with a little bit more speed because that was pretty broken down. So we're facing in, we're gonna push, pull forward, twist, foot to the heel, lift up over the toe, and then we're gonna check, still facing with our upper body towards where we started. So we never look that way, okay? We always keep our upper body facing the way we started. So after the turn, we're gonna be on our back inside edge, okay? So you wanna have your pressure through your shoulder, through your hip, all the way through your foot. So your knee is kind of coming out in front of you. That way you're not piking in those hips, okay? We wanna be shoulders, hips, and foot with that knee out in front. So we have that proper pressure through the center of our inside edge. Our upper body is going to be twisted with our hands pressing down, and I think about really pushing my leading hand down behind me. That helps me stay on my circle. And then my free foot, that's the one that's going to be in the air, is going to be just in front of you. So it'll be here. Okay, so we're pressed down, really good pressure through our quads, through our foot, free foot in front, and pressing that hand down behind us. Let's try that all together. So push, twist, and up over the toe, check. Now if you're having a hard time staying on that inside edge, you can get a little tiny bit of a power pull in there while you're learning the skill, okay? So once you're here, ideally you'd just be able to hold it beautifully, but that takes a lot of upper body strength and minute control over all your muscles. So if you're not there yet, once you've turned, you can do a little power pull, and that helps you get onto that inside edge a little bit more easily. So let's put this all together with this right forward inside rocker. So I'm going to push onto that right forward inside edge, twist, check my upper body, lift my heel, flip over my toe pick, check the back, and I can add in a little power pull if I need to on the exit. So let's do this again, but on the other foot. So now I'm going to be my left forward inside rocker. I'm going to be rotating clockwise now. Okay, so for me this is a slightly harder turn, but with any footwork you have to learn both sides, both feet, turning both directions, forward and backward. Okay, so you cannot scrimp out on learning a skill, especially in footwork, just because it's your harder side. Okay, so rant over, time to work on this foot. So we have our left foot in front, and I'm going to be pushing with my right. I'm still facing hard into my starting circle. So my left hand is in front, and that copies my foot. Okay, so I'm going to push. Now we talked before about this foot coming in front. As it comes to the back, I want you to press a little bit harder. So it's like you're giving that last little push before you rise, okay? So if you're just sitting there, you can turn, but if you give it a little oomph, it helps you get that foot to turn. So you'll see me go push and lift, that little extra oomph in your bend, okay? So we have push, foot to the front, bend and lift, okay? I did that a little bit more slowly than I think I normally would because I wanted you to see it, but you want that little extra push right before you turn. Okay, so right foot pushing, upper body really torqued, okay? If this is your hard side, you have to focus on your upper body even more than on your easier side, okay? So we push, we really torque that upper body, bend and turn. Now on your exit, we want to talk about this a little bit more. On your exit, you want your free foot, it's the one in the air, to sit right on top of the same circle that your skating foot is on. If it's open, it's going to pull you over and you're going to end up falling. Or if it's crossed, you're going to twist and end up facing the wrong direction. So you want to think about your free foot stacking right on that same circle as your skating foot. So if I was going to get into my exit position, I would be here and my free foot is right on top of that same circle. Okay, so your free foot is going from forward, backward, and then it's going to stay on that side, and you're going to turn into it and set it right on that same circle that you're gliding on. So we're going to do this all together again, and I really want you to look at what my free foot is doing. It has a whole path of its own. We have the upper body checking, we have your skating foot bending and lifting over the toe, but the free foot has a whole path it needs to follow itself. So watch that free foot. So the free foot is going to push, reach, tuck, and flip. Okay, and then maybe power pole if you're still working on that exit. So that free foot has a full path that can make or break your turn. So you want to be very deliberate about where that foot goes. All right, skaters, I hope you found that rocker tutorial informative. All of those different turns can be a little bit confusing, but if you pay attention to the details, those fine little details, you'll understand the differences and how to execute them correctly. All right, if you found this informative and you liked this video, please do give us that thumbs up. And as always, I look forward to reading all your comments in that section down below. If you haven't done so yet, then hit that subscribe button and the little notification bell so you can see all my videos when they come out. And if you'd like some exclusive Coach Julia content, head over to my Patreon. There's a link in the description down below. Happy skating, and I'll see you next time.